Good afternoon, everyone. Adam Hughes here. Uh, just gonna do a video there today. I remember my grandparents. Three of them are gone, but one is still alive. Uh, First grandfather that I'm gonna talk about, his name was Leland Donaldson. He was a fisherman for 44 years of his life. I believe he was well into his 70s. Or sorry, he was 84 when he had passed away. And I believe he loved his family very much, cared about his family very much. I miss him a lot. Uh, he was from Pubnico, Nova Scotia, or Argyle, Nova Scotia. It's the same place pretty much within 5 minutes. Um, he passed away in 2019, October 2019. I still remember going up there as a kid and be Christmas time with the Christmas trees, and in the back room, him and my grandmother always had something for us and whatnot, and going up there as a family. It's funny how fast time goes on. Me and him used to go for drives. Remember, we'd throw on the plaid jacket and we'd just go for a drive. He'd always show me about where he fished, and I think he only had like a grade 5 or 6 education, but he could his geography was right up there. He knew a lot, and he could point out to an island and tell you what island it was, and out in the ocean or whatever. And he knew a lot about life, more than likely more than I'll ever know. It's not a day that goes by I don't miss him. I miss being able to pick up the phone and talk to him. But I know as life goes on, people pass away too. It's part of life. Still miss him though. Miss him and I love him. His wife, which was my grandmother also, Joan Donaldson, she passed away last September 2023. Grandmother was very wise. She would tell you like it is, whether you wanted to hear it or not, but she had a lot of wisdom. I miss her. We were close. A lot of people said I was. I remember calling her up and she'd say, Adam, did you hear? And most of the times I had already heard, or she would hear about the family news before me, or vice versa. I love her very much. I miss her. She died of cancer, unfortunately, last year. My grandfather, he had the first one, Leland Donaldson, the one I was just talking about. Jump back to him for a second. He had was put into a nursing home last year of his life. Started going through stop signs, so they took his license, and he had dementia. He was 84. He didn't remember me at first, just remembered me as the big guy that had shoveled his driveway. Then I remember my grandmother telling him in the nursing home, "It's Adam, your grandson." And he remembered me after a while, but when I had left, he just I stand in the door, and he said, "Who's the big man standing in the door?" So I remember all that stuff. It's sad. There's not much. There's not much. Well, there's nothing I can do now about it. But I miss him. A lot of good memories. I'll always miss him. Back to my grandmother. We were close. There's never a day that goes by I don't remember. I remember just all of us going down there at Christmas time as kids and stuff and whatnot. There was something else, or 7 of us, and that was crowded. Good times though. I love this time of the year. But my grandmother, she was we were very close. I'd say we talked at least 3 or 4 times a month. She lived 8 hours away, so I never got to see her as much as I would want to, but that's usually how that stuff goes. It's funny how quick life goes, though. Just sitting here at the Mactaquac Dam again today. Love this place. I actually miss living in Fredericton. It's live in St. John, New Brunswick now. Probably end up moving back eventually. Thinking about transfer him when the new jail opens up in Manitoba, New Brunswick. Anyway, my other grandfather passed away was in 2020. My grandmother's name that had passed away was Joan Donaldson. And my first grandfather, I had mentioned already, his name is Leland Donaldson. On my father's side, my grandfather's name was Clifford Muse. He was 88 when he passed away. He was a diesel mechanic all his life. He was an old bullshit kind of a guy, and I remember going to see him, and he'd always tell me, Adam, if you ever get in trouble, there's no flop house here. So he'd always made it plain and clear that he raised his family, and we weren't welcome if we got in trouble, and come for a visit, but if you'd like to see us go. But that was okay, because we knew that where we stood with him. And I remember he had a lazy boy, and I'd sit in lazy boys, get your ass out of my chair, and that wasn't long popping up. He's a very strong. Both my grandfathers were strong men. This one here is a diesel mechanic all of his life. He was he was a loving grandfather, strict. He didn't like the family news. He wouldn't put up with my foolishness with that, so I knew better than to try to play that one with him. So he was a good grandfather, though. I miss him every day. I think about him all the time. I was actually up to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia this fall, and I got to take a picture by his grave and put some flowers on his grave. So, now I have one grandmother left. God bless her soul. She just turned 90. I was up there for a family reunion and her 90th birthday. You can see that on my YouTube channel too. Her name is Nikki Muse, and I learned something. I never, after all these years, and I feel terrible for not knowing it, but she was triplets, I guess. So she had 2 twins. So, that's pretty amazing. She just, my grandmother on my father's side, best way to explain her, she's a very loving, caring woman. Always took care of her family. Very quiet woman. Worked in the Catholic Church as an accountant or secretary all of her life. I can't remember now. Had a nice little house in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Of course, I sold it. But up until just recently, she was living in seniors care there, or whatever it is. Or she had her own apartment, I guess, so can't say. But it was a place for seniors, so she's taking care of herself. She had cancer one side of her face, and they got rid of it. But unfortunately, she's in the hospital right now with cancer on the other side of her face. And so if you can keep her in prayer, I hope she makes it. Last I heard, she wasn't eating a whole lot, or eating very little, or little at all. I'm not quite sure, but it's not looking good. She's 90. I love her very much too. I think it's important to take time for your loved ones, because I'm telling you, I'll be 43 January 26th this year coming, and it's going quick. I mean, it's quicker than I like to have it. That's all I'm going to say on my grandparents. Nothing but good memories. Thank God for them. I thank God that I was able to have them in my life till, well, I guess 5 years ago was the first time one of them went, so I would have been, well, I'm 42 now, so, 37 when the first one went. So, but I believe in your loving your family and whatnot. This is kind of a long-winded video, but there's going to be people that come and go out of your life, unfortunately. There's going to be some upsets in your life. One of those upsets in life is I've had people that's come and went out of my life 10 years ago, and I still haven't talked to. I've tried to make things right, but if you try to make things right and people choose not to fix it on their own, there's not one damn thing you can do. I'm not saying I am not the guilty party in some of these things, because I have been I've asked for forgiveness, and sometimes people just don't forgive and they just move on. This a good friend of mine. I wish him all the best. Even if I never speak to him again, if I ever see him again, I would gladly speak to him. But I won't say his name or nothing. I have respect for him and his family. But I do wish him all the best. Another person came into my life about 4 years ago, or about 4 or 5 years ago, and was a workout buddy of mine. I looked up to him a lot. I won't say what happened, but it wasn't nothing too bad. I wish him the best too. I don't think people necessarily hate you when they walk out of your life. I think it's just they make the choice, and if you try to make it right with them, and they don't want to work with you on it, or they don't want to make it right with you, don't chase them. I've learned you can't chase. I'm almost 43 years old. You can't chase people. If people want to be your friends, they'll accept you for who you are, and if not, well, at the end of the day, man, if you're not breaking the law and you're not hurting anybody, and you're doing the best you can to provide for yourself and your family or whatever, I mean, what else can a man do, right? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say everything's perfect in my life, because it's far from perfect. This year has been one of the hardest years of my life. Going through a divorce and paying the spousal support and whatnot. Anyway, I'm going to end this video now, but thank you all for watching. God bless you all.